About a year ago, I talked about childhood traumas I had growing up, and that was pretty fun, in a confronting your own PTSD kind of way. So we're gonna do something like that again, but this time around one specific topic. One that I guess I kind of repressed for years because I didn't remember it until about a month ago. Screamers. Some of you out there might not know what I mean, as they've kind of died down over time, but for those of you that do know, I'm sure the thumbnail, or even these pictures alone, awaken a violent response in you. And I'll take this moment just to specify, I am not going to pull this prank on any of you watching the video. Any screamers I talk about will have the volume heavily lowered, muted entirely, and even if the screamer itself is so sudden that it can still spook you even without the sound, I'll slow it down. Other instances, I'll warn you, but basically, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you. So to start, what is a screamer? Screamers are a form of prank that deceive the viewer into thinking that what they're watching or looking at is completely normal, only to slam you in the face with a scary image and a loud scream. It's distinct from a basic jump scare because jump scares normally occur in something like horror themes, ergo, you expect it to happen in that context. But with screamers, you couldn't even watch a simple lyric video to a random song without Reagan from The Exorcist screaming in your face. This trend really grew in the early 2000s, but the start of it, the one that strewed the seeds to eventually lead to everything that happens later, is attributed to a 1970s anti-heroin ad called Monkey on Their Shoulder. Now, I'm going to play this one normally because it's very tame.
They say people addicted to heroin have a monkey on their back. Isn't that cute?
So yeah, this is documented to be the start of it all. Nowhere close to how things would escalate, but everything's gotta have its humble beginnings, I suppose. Fast forward to 1990, where Nightmare, the first scareware, is said to be made. Now what is scareware, you might have asked? Scareware is malware that, as the name implies, is designed to scare you. Nowadays, it's used by people on the internet to scare grandma into giving up her life savings, but back in the 90s, it was just a program you would open on Amiga, and it seemingly wouldn't do anything at first. But after 5 minutes, it would hit you with this bleeding skull and a scream that honestly sounds pretty funny. There were two other well-known scareware programs made, McDonald's.exe from China and Hikaru.exe from Japan, but these were still mere peanuts to what came next.
Here comes a new challenger!
What's Wrong, or What's Wrong with This Picture, was released in 2001, and the thing that was so effective about this is that this is not a picture. This is a flash animation. So if you were a kid who stumbled upon this, or as I've seen many people account as I researched for this video, had their parents show them this, you aren't expecting anything out of the ordinary. So little Timmy starts to lean in close to the 240p family monitor, trying to rack his tiny mind into figuring what exactly is wrong with the picture. It looks like a normal photo. Only for little Timmy to get shocked by this, and this is probably the most used screamer image, with Reagan in pretty close second. But yeah, this is the start. This got the ball rolling, and that ball rapidly grew. This site was passed around in emails, multiple people started to make their own What's Wrong with This Picture screamers, and even Garfield pulled this trick in the game Garfield's Scary Scavenger Hunt 2, Donuts of Doom. When something as inoffensive as Garfield is getting in on it, you know there's no hope left. And yeah, there was no hope anymore, because 2004 quickly approached, and a game called The Maze was released. If you didn't play it, you watched someone else play it. It's probably the thing that started reaction videos, because people who suffered through it wanted to see other people feel their pain, and people who never played the game just have a funny video to watch. In fact, I'm pretty sure people submitted half of these to America's Funniest Home Videos, which just made even more people privy to this prank. Even before the dawn of YouTube, though, we were pretty close. But before we were there was one more big dog in the screamer scene, and this is probably the one you are most familiar with. Kefi is a German company that made coffee beverages, and they advertised them with screamers. You see this car peek out from a hillside and drive through a scenic valley, and oh hi there, zombie! There were 16 commercials in all! 16 of them! And 9 of them were just like this. They would act just like they were random B-roll or the start of a totally normal ad, only to bamboozle you with a zombie or a gargoyle. Now, 4 of them were radio ads. Yes, you heard that correctly. In some parts of the world, you could be on a relaxing Sunday drive only to hear this non-conspicuous ad.
We've got an investment tip for you which promises top returns. This investment will guarantee you a worry-free life and allow you to fulfill cherished dreams.
And then get screamed at. Listen, I can't find any data, but I know good and well at least one car accident was caused by these ads. You can't prove to me that there wasn't one. I'd sooner believe someone got in an accident and lied about why they crashed, sooner than to believe no one at all was ever affected by these radio ads, even once. Now, while I was making that point, some of you may have probably picked up on the fact that I only mentioned 13 commercials so far. If there are 16 in all, what are the last 3? Well, they're this. Yes, the last 3 are jokes used to promote their latte macchiato variant. They're old ads with the screamers replaced with a fabulous man, a teddy bear, and a man wearing a mask, whom you can see doing a poor job of hiding through the whole ad. This is hilarious, and even more evil, because when this infamous 2 seconds starts up, you don't know if it's the original screamer or the joke version. So thank you, Kefi. And even though these commercials only played in Germany or the UK, it was the birth of YouTube that really cemented this trend, with the original video titled Ghost Car at over 38 million views. I think it's safe to say a lot of people saw this video. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you saw it when it was titled Scary Car or simply Auto. But regardless, YouTube was now available so that anyone and everyone could do nearly anything that they wanted, all for the sake of entertainment. And with this Kefi commercial getting weaponized so early in the website's life, the floodgates were open, and the torrent was surging forth. From this point on, anything was fair game. You had other people pulling the whole "what's wrong with this picture" trick, you had people telling you to stare at a red dot, and there was the tidal wave of hidden/subliminal message videos. The constant hours of listening to stuff backwards to hear something vaguely dirty or satanic, or the constant Disney videos talking about the Lion King flowers that say sex, the Little Mermaid castle that looks like a wang, or the rescuers down under having a topless picture in one of the windows. Some of these videos were actually trying to show you this stuff, but other videos will make you think they're going to, but they're actually there to scare you. The rudest one, I feel, is from Aladdin. You know this one, right? Where Aladdin says, "Good kitty, take off and go," but people hear it as, "All good teenagers, take off your clothes." Well, the normal video is perfectly fine. However, somebody made a version of this video that's identical, but ends in a screamer. And your only means of picking up on that is the title. Aladdin's subliminal message has all the words capitalized, but the screamer video doesn't. It also asks you to listen closely and turn the volume up, while the original doesn't. That is malicious, and the internet just kept going. Aw, look, a girl dancing in a hallway. Aw, look, a demonic girl melting. I never expected this subliminal message in Zelda. Ha! Pranked! This right here is the biggest fight in NHL history. Whoopsies. Dude, look! They caught footage of Michael Jackson's ghost! Ooga booga. Did you know there's a secret way to unlock Bomberman in Super Smash Bros. Brawl? Psych, you thought. The one that really made me paranoid as a kid was Paper Mario, A Rare Attack. Now, this wasn't my first screamer by any means. But when you watch enough of these, you start to learn the tells. Whenever someone asked you to look closely or full screen or turn up the volume, they were baiting you. This video had no such tells. It just tells you to enjoy. You get handycam footage of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door for like 15 seconds, and then you get screamed at by this dog, which made Babamy go, okay, gotcha. I guess I can't trust any video on the internet now. And for a while, whenever I would watch a video from someone I didn't know or trusted, I would mute the audio and sit there shielding my face to prevent anything from scaring me. Then once I knew it was safe, I would turn the sound on and rewatch the video. That stopped after a few years, and I thought as I entered the life of a teenager that screamers were dying down, and one day soon I could eventually forget all about them. But fate had two more to throw at me. There was this one, a Japanese ad that even has a warning before it even plays. It's a dark and snowy night. You're watching dashcam footage of some guys are heard talking, when suddenly, there's a figure in the road. And now she's right at the window, causing our bros to back up and revealing to us that this was an ad for car tires. Cool. That's certainly one way to do it. The second one, and what ended up being the last screamer I came in contact with, was the Bong Cheon Dong Ghost. Now, some of you might not count this since it was a horror-themed webcomic, so you should expect scary stuff, but you probably wouldn't expect jump scares in the way that this did it. See, much like What's Wrong with This Picture, you are unaware that 90% of this comic is not a comic. There's 2 jump scares in this that forcibly scroll down to simulate frame-by-frame animation. One where the ghost girl turns her head 180 degrees, and another where she flies towards the camera. This one in particular was done in such a way where it made her overlap the boundaries of the comic panel and caused her face to take up the entirety of your screen, giving the impression that even the fourth wall could not protect you. Now, due to Flash being dead, this webcomic loses pretty much all of its impact, as it doesn't force any sudden movements, and it basically amounts to a GIF for the jump scares. Even the fourth wall break one is contained by its panel, which means she's no longer invading your personal space. So, we've talked about a lot today, and at this point, some of you might be asking, hey Yuri, what was your first screamer? And my answer to that is, it's lost. Yes, it's lost to time itself. My first screamer was a video named Super Mario 64 Big Star Secret, and was a 5-minute video detailing how, with a specific set of steps, you could unlock Luigi in Super Mario 64. Only for it to end with the Kefi zombie. So technically you could say that the Kefi zombie was my first screamer, but I didn't know about the ad till way later, so I'm counting it this way. But yeah, this video's lost. It was deleted at some point, and unlike other screamer videos that met the same fate, nobody has re-uploaded it or anything. The only footage left around is a reaction video of someone pranking their younger brother with the very same video, and that's it. I didn't even think a video like this would even become lost. Usually the Screamer Wiki would have like a backup for it. Yes, there is in fact a Screamer wiki. Big props to them, by the way. They made research for this video so much easier. Plus, they gave me over 17 accounts of PTSD when I would just see the thumbnail to a video and the memories would flood on back. So yeah, this was fun to make. In conclusion, Screamers were a fad that affected nearly anyone that used the internet, and while they have diminished in numbers greatly over the years, partially because our humor as people slowly started to accept that loud clipping audio is kinda hilarious. But Screamers are never truly gone. People like Finder Lurker make remakes to some of those old infamous videos. TikTok, otherwise known as Vine 2.0, has been getting in on pranking their viewers with the old bait-and-switch spookadooks. Or you have people who clearly grew up getting Screamered, who now have kids of their own, putting them through the Scary Maze game and other such things. As long as people remember them, Screamers will never truly die. And speaking of remembering, to all of you that made it to the end here, what was your first Screamer? Mine is gone to the sands of time, but yours? Yours might still be around. Either way, I think that'll do it for this video. For all of you that trusted me, I'm glad that you know me well enough by now that I wouldn't pull a cheap trick on you, or lie to you outright. And for everyone that did trust me, understandable. I wouldn't trust me either considering the topic, but at least now you can rewatch the video later and not have to be so tense. Thank you all so much for watching, be safe out there, I'll see you guys next time, and take care. Special thanks goes to B17 Balder, I still get a kick out of that name, for still being a $5 patron on Patreon, and my other patrons as well for donating what they can. As always, I appreciate all that you, and even those who don't donate, do to continue supporting me. So summer, the worst season for me, is nearing its end, which means I can finally stop melting in this room of mine and actually get some work done again. I've got quite a few ideas in the works that should be out relatively soon, so look forward to those as we grow closer to spooky season once again. With all that said, thank you all so much again for watching the video. All of you have a wonderful rest of your day.